All right, Sarah, let's go ahead and get started with you, actually. So we're talking about the work that nonprofits are doing in the era of COVID-19. Obviously, all the work is going in a more virtual space, as you see here in this call right now. But there's still a lot of nonprofits that are able to accomplish a lot of work, have tremendous impact in this virtual environment. So can you explain how Keystone has been able to transition its work that primarily and traditionally has been in person, but has been able to transition into this current era of physical distancing?
Certainly. So we at Keystone, as you say, are in the business of bringing people together. So initially it posed a challenge when everybody had to stay home. But what we found is been really important to keeping our work moving and vibrant is that we have a set of principles that really help guide how we use virtual engagement. And we found actually in some cases we've been able to engage even more people through these kinds of settings, as well as continue to have meaningful engagement with those who we've been engaged with. So those principles really are first that we embrace the need for virtual engagement, certainly in this era, but also just more generally. It can break down barriers of people being able to participate because of travel or cost. And we're also finding that people actually have more time to participate now that they're not on airplanes or driving to meetings or in meetings all the time. So we've definitely seen the benefits actually of bringing people in through a more virtual environment that may be more convenient, certainly to their lives at the moment, but maybe more generally going forward as well. Second is that we maintain a focus on objectives and outcomes. So regardless of the format, it's really important that we stay focused on what we're trying to accomplish and how we're doing that to make sure we're engaging our participants in a meaningful way and designing our formats and our discussions, whether they need to be smaller or larger, with an eye towards what we're trying to accomplish with those conversations. So that's really focused on staying focused on what we're trying to do regardless of the environment in which we're doing it. And then thirdly, virtual, we're finding, can support equity, access, and inclusion by that sort of broader access to participation. In some cases, they can increase the ability for people to participate. But on the flip side of that, it can actually potentially decrease that participation. So we're very mindful of how that works. There are certain areas where people either don't have access to broadband, which may be a limiting factor. And there's also just issues of comfort level in this kind of participation that we're always mindful of, as well as the fact that some of our meetings, for example, happen with government agencies who have to continue to abide by sunshine rules and those kinds of things. And those things can be a little more tricky in a virtual environment. So we just, again, it comes back to the design of the agenda and the meeting, making sure we're being inclusive of those who need to be a part of the conversation. And then finally, we really look forward to the day when we can continue to be also engaging in person. That is really important to maintaining and creating relationships. We are social creatures, and we really do look forward to continuing to be able to have in-person engagements when we're back at a place to be able to do that. So we're really have used this time to learn how we meld both that virtual environment and, as I said, the day when we all get to be back meeting together again.